So it wasn't just Brody Jennings. There were some other updates going on for Barbecue at the Big House and otherwise. And the one that I want to ask about directly is Phillip Wright. And the reason is because he may be committed to Michigan, but there has been some smoke that LSU is still in this pretty heavily. And we had said that before, that like watch out for LSU. But where do you think LSU falls versus Michigan in this recruiting battle?
Yeah, so where LSU falls is behind Michigan right now in this recruiting battle, but it doesn't mean LSU isn't doing their best or their hardest to become number one in this recruitment. So for those who don't know, Phillip Wright did visit LSU on Friday for one day, and then he came to Michigan on Saturday and Sunday, and on his own dime, which I think is very important to point out. As we discussed, on our earlier shows or the last few weeks, is LSU is going to be coming for Phillip Wright. I mean, Phillip Wright is from Louisiana. He's a 10.4 600-meter guy. And LSU, unfortunately for us, missed out on some top targets. So now they're circling back on Phillip Wright. So listen, this is going to be a battle. Right now, I like Michigan right now. And the reason why I like Michigan right now is because his mom and his dad came up here to, even after LSU gave their best pitch on Friday. And LSU does not listen. LSU tried to get Phillip Wright not to commit, and he's still committed. LSU tried to get him not to come up here this weekend. He still came on his own dime. Okay, like I know there's a lot of people out there who think he's as good as gone. I'm not sold that he's as good as gone. I think Michigan. I think he realizes LSU looked at him as a second option, and Michigan looked at him as a primary option. Michigan looked at him at so much as a primary option. Taz Williams became expendable. Okay, they went after Phillip Wright as a number one option. So I think Michigan just needs to continue to be aggressive with him. NIL is going to matter. The good news is Michigan is playing ball. But another thing that just became a factor in this recruitment is LSU just offered him for track. Michigan has not done that yet. So that's a new development in this recruitment. Michigan is going to need to counter and also involve their track team. And if anyone's really worried about that, Michigan actually has a pretty respectable track program. Last I checked, which was about a year ago, was ranked top 30. So it's not a slouch by any means. Yeah, I mean, definitely Michigan track programs, we have to get involved, and Michigan's we have to stay aggressive on this because Phillip Wright also comes from a feeder school for LSU. I don't know, I can't remember the name of the high school off the top of my head, but it essentially some top receivers like Jamar Chase and others have come from this high school. So it's something Michigan's just got to be on top of. They got to keep fighting the fight, and it's not over by any means. And I think as it stands right now, Michigan has the lead. And they're in the driver's seat, but they have to be mindful that LSU is not going to stop. And we know how these SEC programs go. They're just going to keep applying more and more pressure. So we'll see how it goes.
But it is a different world than it might have been a year ago with respect to this. LSU would have just taken him, if it was a year ago. Right.
This wouldn't even be this would not exactly. And that's actually a great point, Ferris. It goes to show you the advancement in Michigan's recruiting. Because a year ago, we would be talking about how he's at LSU right now. Michigan has just upped its game. They're able to play. Like, look at look at all these battles we've won. We beat Alabama for Andrew Olish. We just killed Auburn for Nate Marshall. Nate Marshall didn't even go to Big Cat Weekend in Auburn this weekend. But who did go was Notre Dame's quarterback. He went down to Big Cat Weekend. Notre Dame might be losing their damn quarterback right now. And I mean it's interesting to see that the battles that Michigan is winning right now. It just goes to show you that they've really upped their game. And as we talk about some more of these prospects, like DJ Sanders and Jerome Myles, these are more tells that things are in the right direction.
Yeah, we can get to the rest of the list. I'll just make a really quick comment that it's good to see wide receivers. We're starting to stockpile wide receivers, and it's hinting at the idea that we're going to probably change our style of play over time here over the next couple of years. So just some thoughts there. Yeah.
Nate, we've been talking about that, and you'll see more reporting on that as we get closer. And I'm very curious when we start seeing more than just a one-game sample of Kurt Campbell's scheme. Because so far we really just have one example of Kirk Campbell calling plays off of a sheet, most likely that Sharon Moore prepared. So I'm curious to see what happens when he is officially the conductor of the orchestra on offense. He had some good years and before at Old Dominion, and I'm very curious to hear that. Before we get to the others, we do have a super chat from Mike. Any D-line recruits to be looking out for?
Yeah, no, this is actually right on topic, and I'll just jump right to it. So, great question, Mike, and appreciate your $2 super chat. It's always appreciated. The D-line recruit to look out for right now is DJ Sanders. So DJ Sanders is the number one priority right now for defensive line because we've already landed our defensive line: Julius Holly, Nate Marshall, Jalen Williams, and Bobby Kenka, which are all top players. DJ Sanders is the next guy that Michigan's focusing on, and this has been a Michigan-Texas battle, but it just got really interesting in the past week because Texas just took a defensive tackle by the name of what's his name? I got it right here. Josiah Sharma. Okay, they just took a 4-star defensive tackle by the name of Josiah Sharma. DJ Sanders is already planning to visit Michigan at the Texas game, which is the perfect game for him to come up to the big house and experience a game day visit because obviously it's going against the competition. So if we can get the dub, imagine the impact that will have on DJ Sanders. But what made this even better is the fact that Texas just over-recruited him. They just took another guy at his position. So I think this gives Michigan an opportunity here. I think it cracks the door open even more. And we're going to have to see how this plays out. I think Texas might have – I feel they may have been a little aggressive here. But, at the end of the day, we'll see. I just think that our opportunity to land DJ Sanders just increased with that move. And then I'll hit on Andrew Marsh. I'll just go through these. Andrew Marsh is the one I wanted to hit an update on. So he had a great weekend. And, as you guys know, who watched our interview last week, he was planning to go to barbecue at the big house. He's pretty locked into Michigan. Let's just be real. He's visited us, I think, 3 times in the last 2 months. This is a major target. He got to not only get more familiar with the recruits and the coaches and the campus and all that, but he also got to throw with Brady Hart, which I mentioned. And he's looking to commit, as he mentioned on our interview, the end of August. And that date is looking like August 20th. So be on the lookout for that. I'm feeling good about it. I have a lock on that. And just be on the lookout. And this is going to be a major get for Michigan. August is going to be a major month for Michigan. And another one who's going to be committed in August is Jayden Sanders. So Jayden Sanders is the cornerback who's rising up the recruiting boards. He came and visited with his family, and Michigan knocked it out of the park. And right now, it's not even a TCU battle anymore, which is dad's a former legacy. It's an Oklahoma State-Michigan battle. And to be honest with you, Oklahoma State wouldn't even be in the picture if it wasn't for their proximity to home. Because as you guys know, if you've been following our channel, Jayden Sanders is a Texas product. But he's becoming more and more comfortable with the idea of playing further away from home. And Michigan's just doing a great job here. And shout out again to Lamar Morgan. Just he's crushing it right now.
Killing it.
Yeah, he really is, man. So, we're looking good. He's looking to decide August 10th. So be on the lookout for that. So August 20th for Andrew Marsh, August 10th for Jayden Sanders. And then I'll throw this in there too. This wasn't on our list, but Andrew Babaloa is looking to decide. I think it's August 12th. So, and I feel good. I mean, I feel if I had to choose, I would choose Michigan for Andrew Babaloa. I'll say that's a bit harder one to pick, and I don't have a lock on it because I'm not overly confident about it. But it does appear Michigan made a move with Andrew Babaloa. So be on the lookout for Andrew Babaloa, August 12th. Be on the lookout for Jayden Sanders, August 10th, and then August 20th, obviously Andrew Marsh. And then the next one we're going to talk about, and that's 5-star wide receiver Jerome Myles, formerly decommitted from Ole Miss, the Utah product who runs a 10.3 600 meter, 6'3", 215 pounds. This dude is a monster. If we can land him, this is serious. I mean, this would be serious. Michigan had a great weekend with Jerome Myles. He they did everything they needed to do. I don't know if there's anything more we could ask of Michigan to do. But this recruitment, like the Owasu Boateng recruitment, is going to go the distance. He wants to keep going through the recruiting experience and as well as visiting some other schools. But he does plan on taking an official visit to Michigan for a game day game. So that's also shows a good sign that he came here for unofficial visits for barbecue at the Big House on his own dime. So shout out to that, man. I mean, at the end of the day, Michigan again is just doing what they need to do. Now, can we land these? Are the results going to be what we all want? For a lot of those guys, it's trending that way. Jerome, out of everyone I just mentioned on that list, Jerome Myles is probably the one where it's the biggest question mark, even though the Andrew Babalola isn't solidified either. But, I do feel the Andrew Babalola recruitment is trending Michigan, or I feel like Michigan has the edge right now. If I had to call it, I'd say Michigan has the edge, but it is a tight race. So I don't want to sell anyone any hope. It just feels that way. And then for Jerome Myles, Michigan's doing what they need to do. And if they can get another visit out of Jerome Myles, that is when we will know. We will have a clearer picture once he is able to come in for another visit.